Flight attendant denies twin girls first class, unaware their father owns the airline. Greetings, everyone. Have you ever felt overlooked, dismissed, or underestimated because of your appearance, background, or simply because people made assumptions about who you were? In this story, you will meet two bright young sisters whose fates are nearly derailed by someone who believes they do not belong where they rightfully should be. Before we dive into their journey, please let us know in the comments where you are watching from. Every place, every background, every voice matters. Ethan Carter had grown accustomed to moving through life with silent assurance. He wore suits cut from the finest fabrics and possessed a calm, businesslike manner. His eyes were kind, but carried a glint of unwavering confidence. He had once been an ordinary man with big dreams, determined to change the course of his future. Decades of perseverance had transformed him into more than just a success story. He became a titan in the aviation world, quietly overseeing an airline he'd helped build from the ground up. Unlike many industry moguls who flaunted their status, Ethan had chosen to stay discreet about his position. When he traveled with his daughters, Olivia and Sophia, he preferred to do so without fanfare. Olivia and Sophia were twins, nearly indistinguishable to the casual observer, yet individually unique in every way that mattered. At 15 years old, they were in the middle of that transformative stage where the world still felt brimming with unending possibilities. They were bright, curious, and full of the restless energy of youth. Olivia, the older twin by 5 minutes, had a knack for history and politics. She devoured any book she could find on civilizations, revolutions, and the people who reshaped societies. Sophia, by contrast, was a natural artist and creative dreamer, drawn to painting, music, and any form of expression that allowed her to show the world exactly how she felt. They were flying to London, a trip planned for months and eagerly anticipated by the entire family. Ethan had suggested it as part of a broader educational experience. He wanted his daughters to see museums, architecture, and the places where new ideas clashed with old traditions. He believed in the power of travel to expand young minds, to help them step beyond their comfort zones, and to engage with perspectives different from their own. The idea of being in another country made the twins giddy with excitement, and their mother, Lauren, fully supported the plan. Though Lauren had commitments back home, she encouraged the twins to go on this adventure with their father. She trusted Ethan's judgment and loved seeing their daughters explore the world. On the day of departure, Ethan arrived at the airport with the girls in tow. He had booked 3 first-class tickets, yet, in typical Ethan fashion, he had done so quietly, simply purchasing them through the usual channels without making a show of who he was. Sometimes staff recognized him, sometimes they did not. Ethan never went out of his way to clarify the matter. He preferred anonymity, enjoying the chance to witness genuine human behavior unclouded by the knowledge of his power or status. At times, that meant blending in as any regular passenger might, waiting in lines, occupying standard lounges, and observing every aspect of the airline service. On this particular day, fate placed them in the path of Diane Wallace. Diane was a seasoned flight attendant who had served in the airline industry for nearly 2 decades. She prided herself on professionalism and her steady presence in the sky. However, she also possessed a tendency to judge people by appearances. She was vigilant in her duties, some would say to the point of rigidness, especially when it came to who she deemed acceptable for first-class accommodations. From the moment she saw Ethan and the twins, her eyes flickered with an almost automatic disapproval. The girls wore casual sweatshirts, sneakers, and carried backpacks splashed with youthful designs. Ethan's attire was understated. An expensive but unbranded jacket, a comfortable pair of trousers, and well-worn sneakers that had accompanied him on many long flights. They did not fit Diane's conception of typical first-class travelers. She was accustomed to a certain style, an appearance of formality, or so she believed. As the family approached the boarding gate, Diane stood at her post, greeting passengers with a polite smile that did not quite reach her eyes. When Ethan handed her their boarding passes, Diane's brow furrowed. She scanned the tickets, then took a moment to glance up at the family. There was a flicker of something in her gaze, an unspoken question. She looked at the twins, who were practically bouncing with excitement, then peered over Ethan's shoulder as if expecting someone more suitably glamorous or businesslike. "Step forward, sir. These are first-class tickets," Diane said, her tone laced with a polite hint of doubt. "Are you sure you're in the right line?" Ethan offered a mild smile. He had seen this scenario play out before. It never grew any more pleasant, but he had learned to handle it with composure. "Yes," he replied calmly. "This is the correct line. Thank you." Diane seemed to hesitate. "All right, sir. Proceed. Welcome aboard." Ethan and the twins made their way onto the aircraft, relieved to settle in. They found their seats in the spacious first-class cabin, with large plush chairs arranged in a layout that would allow them privacy and comfort. The twins immediately started checking out the amenities: touchscreen monitors, reclining seats, blankets, pillows, delightedly comparing notes on which movies they might watch. Ethan found himself quietly smiling at his daughter's unfiltered joy. He loved seeing them wide-eyed and inspired. But Diane was not done. As the flow of passengers continued, she kept looking toward Ethan and the twins with a furrowed brow, as though suspecting that their mere presence was a threat to the sanctity of the first-class cabin. The sight of the girls rummaging in their backpacks, pulling out snacks, and discussing their trip with excited voices seemed out of place to her. Over the years, she had become accustomed to polished business people, older couples who traveled with dignified reserve, or celebrities who wore sunglasses and kept to themselves. The free-spirited excitement of Olivia and Sophia unsettled her. Once the rest of the first-class passengers had boarded, Diane took a moment to approach the family. "Sir," she began, addressing Ethan with a courteous voice but an undercurrent of tension. "May I see your tickets again, please?" Ethan looked at her, calm and composed. "Certainly," he said. He handed over the same boarding passes. "Is there something amiss?" She studied them closely, turning the paper over as if looking for signs of tampering. "Just verifying," she replied. "We have to be sure everything is in order." She handed them back with a tight-lipped smile. "It appears fine." Ethan thanked her and tried to focus on relaxing, but he caught the shift in the twins' demeanor. They had noticed Diane's skeptical tone. Olivia's eyes narrowed with the first flicker of annoyance. Sophia cast a worried glance at her sister, then looked at Ethan questioningly. "Dad, is everything all right?" Olivia asked in a hushed voice. Ethan offered a gentle nod. "Everything's fine," he whispered back. "She just wants to do her job correctly. Let's not worry too much about it. Focus on enjoying the flight." Diane lingered for a moment, then returned to her post at the front of the cabin, maintaining her vigilant watch. Little did she know, the man she was scrutinizing was not only in the right place, but owned the very airline she worked for.